Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to break down a chicken today, fillet it down. We picked up this chicken at the Frenchs Forest Farmers Market a couple hours ago. It is a free-range, organically grown chicken. The three things that we're going to need for our deboning today is our trusty Mazza boning knife, just a standard boning knife really, and my old heavy-duty cleaver. It is a Wusthof, and this one happens to be back from the Cordon Bleu days. So there you go. And of course, you're going to need your chicken. It's important to use the right tool for the task at hand. It makes your job a lot easier. In this case, it would be boning a chicken. I've just washed our chicken. I'm just going to pat it dry now with a bit of paper towel. I find it's really important to wash your chicken. Just like to clean that right off. You know, give it a good wash. Give your chicken a smell, check the quality and the freshness of it as you wash it. You're gonna have to take my word for it because you can't smell it, but this chicken smells really fresh, doesn't even smell like chicken, doesn't smell like anything at all. Just like a little bit of, I guess, meat. And that's really good. I like to dry the inside as well, just so that you don't get any surprise splashes of chicken juice on you when you're filleting. After it's nice and dry, makes it less slippery, makes it really easy to work with, and we're going to start filleting. It is a size 15 chicken, and we're going to start with removing the wishbone. Removing the wishbone is debatable. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depends how lazy I feel. So as you can see, nice and close, you can almost see the wishbone already sticking out, and it's right there. You can see where it's just sticking out along the top of my thumb there, and that's where you're going to make your little incision along where that wishbone is. And you're going to make the incision all the way down to the back or the collarbone, and all the way up to that center cartilage we were talking about earlier. And you can see it does stick out as you fillet it, and my finger's right there. And we're going to do the same for the other side. Feel where that wishbone is. Make a little incision along the top of that wishbone, all the way up and all the way down. And we're just going to remove that like that. Nice and easy. Clean. Put our wishbone aside. Then we're actually going to leave the breast now and move on to our legs. And we're just going to make a little incision there where it touches the leg skin. And when you pull it, it just sort of opens up and tells you where you should cut. I mean, it's quite a simple anatomy really. A bird, they're all the same, whether you're filleting a duck, a chicken, a turkey, a guinea fowl, a pheasant, anything of the sort. So we're just going to follow that skin all the way to the back here, that line you can say, and we're going to reach to what we call the oyster of the chicken. It's not really an oyster, no, but it's the oyster of the chicken, and we're going to cut around that. And that's what our curved boning knife is really good at, is getting into those little nooks and crannies. We've popped out that thigh bone as we're coming along, and we're just following the back of the chicken here, making sure your blade is sort of scraping and slicing at the same time along the back of the chicken, along all the bones of the chicken, so you're not leaving any meat behind. So that's one Maryland. Move on to the next Maryland. Like I said earlier, where the breast touches the leg, there's a bit of skin. You're just going to make a little incision on that skin. It's just going to fall apart. You just pull it, give it a little slice along there, turn it around where that skin is, follow that skin to the oyster, pop that thigh bone out, clock, and get in behind that oyster. There you go, see? Sort of looks like an oyster. And release that, angle the knife back towards the back, and you're just going to follow it down and remove all the meat. Clean. Cool. As you can see on the back of our chicken here, there's no meat left behind. It's all just bone. And we're going to move on to our breasts. Seeing as we have removed the wishbone, we're going to start right in the middle of our chicken. And we're just going to make that incision all the way down until you've hit the bone. Right there. Here's our center, which would be the cartilage in the middle, or the chest bone. And we're just going to follow that chest bone all the way down the middle of the chicken. And as we hit the I guess the rib cage or the the body of the chicken, the carcass, we're going to slightly angle our knife and we're going to pull away a little bit of meat and follow the body of the chicken all the way down. Same sort of motion. The knife is slicing and scraping at the same time, so you're not leaving any meat behind. I'm going to get here to where I guess this would be the collarbone, touches the chicken wing, and you can see that little joint there, and we're just going to cut through that joint all the way down to release our chicken breast with the wing on. When we are cutting the wing off, we're just going to push the wing over. You can see where the drumette is. I like to leave a little bit of meat on our drumette, so it does have a little bit of meat when you get the wing, not just bones. And just going to cut straight down and release our wing. Cool. And that's our breast. Nice. And we're going to do the other side. The other side is a little bit trickier because the chicken's now sort of off balance. We're just going to follow that. We're going to French our Maryland. So when we're Frenching our Maryland, I like to use the cleaver. You can use a chef's knife depending which chef's knife you have. A very hard chef knife, hard steel chef knife, you're going to chip your knife, of course, and a slightly softer steel will work perfectly fine. Sharper knife the better. My cleaver happens to be incredibly sharp, and we're just going to pick the spot just below the joint. You can see here it's a little bit white, a little bit hard, you feel that, and you're going to go just slightly down from there. Make a little score. Yep. And then we're going to use the back of our, usually you'd use the back of your chef's knife. When you cleaver, you can just sort of whack it, so I'm going to use the back half. I'm just going to give it a couple whacks. Off it comes. And that's a really clean Frenching. You can, spend your time in fine dining, you spend your time trying to clean that little bit of sinew off, but let's be honest here, that's not going to change anything. Why do we bone our legs and say lamb shanks and things like that? Why do we bone it? One, presentation is nice, and two, you're actually releasing these sinew pieces that are connected to the knuckle. You can see them here. There's quite a lot of sinew in a leg. That sinew there, that when it's holding the knuckle is actually tensing your meat. So when you release it, your whole drumstick is just softer and more tender to eat after you cook it. Now we're just going to remove our leg from the thigh. We can see here the little joint. You can feel it before I cut it. I'm going to go straight down, and that releases our drumstick, which is quite pretty there actually. We've got our thigh here, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to debone it out. I usually leave the Maryland as a whole and cook a whole Maryland because, one, I'm a bit lazy, and two, I like eating Marylands. But we are actually just going to come along the thigh here. Imagine how you would fillet a thigh bone out. Is exactly how you would do it. You just sort of follow the bone around using that scraping motion as we were discussing earlier, and you just cut around your thigh bone and you release it. And all the sinew there gets cut off, and voila, our thigh bone nice and clean. Pop that in the carcass. Alright, so we've got our carcass with our two knuckles and thigh bones in there. We've got our wings, two wings, our very clean wishbone, two thighs, two legs, and two immaculate breast fillets. We're just actually going to chop up our bones now because we are going to make a chicken stock. We're going to use our two knuckles, our two thigh bones, our wishbone, and our carcass. We're going to grab our cleaver. I'm going to come down the rib cage right in the middle of our chicken. You can do this with a chef's knife, yes, of course, but I like to use the old school cleaver. Now, so we've separated the, top half of the chicken and the bottom and back of the chicken, and we just spread it out nice and long. And we're going to take out our anger on this chicken now. Just think about someone you really hate. Probably head chef, maybe sous chef, whoever. We're just going to take out our anger on the chicken carcass. You can just, hold it here and give it a couple whacks, nice and controlled, or you can just go ham on it and just whack the crap out of it. Just like that. So now we've got our chicken pieces, our carcass chopped up into pieces, which increases the surface area and also cuts where the marrow is. And that allows, when you make your stock, that allows the release of flavor into your water and thus creating a tastier stock. And you can keep the wishbone for a bit of luck. Pop. We've just finished boning out our chicken. We've got our cut up bones here and our filleted pieces, being the 2 wings, 2 breasts, 2 drumsticks boned, 2 thigh fillets, and our bones. We're going to make a simple chicken stock video coming up, so stay tuned for that. And if you wanted to find any of our equipment being used today, the links should be in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys.